right. And welcome to Assets and Algorithms, the show where we explore the intersection of real estate and technology. I have my guest with me today is Sarah Schutz from Presidential Title Group. Thanks for joining me today, Sarah.
Thank you, Derek. I'm happy to be here. I love that you guys are bringing tech to everybody and letting them know how innovative this.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love having these conversations, and I'm especially excited to speak with you about what you guys are doing and how you're shaping the title industry. I'd love to start with a little bit about your backstory and how you've been able to shape Presidential Title Group's presence across the Southeast. Tell me about that.
Yes, so I come from a design background. My early 20s, I traveled around to home and garden shows throughout the country and saw a lot of realtors there, saw a lot of innovative things happening at those home and garden shows, but that was the old school way of doing everything. And we really got our message across that way. But then I got into when I discovered tools like PropStream and Driving for Dollars and some of those tech forward strategies, I got into the investing space. And that's really where my love for real estate blossomed, and my love for tech, of course. And so I was caught up in these antiquated processes. Sometimes I would be traveling to 8 different people's homes to get a signature, to get a wet signature to close on a deal. And it was just kind of insane. And it just set my closings back constantly, and it really disappointed people. And so I had always had my eye out and ear out for something really innovative in this space to make it easier than just your normal brick and mortar title company that takes, 60 days sometimes. And so about 5 years ago when COVID happened, I saw that we were able to do, the wet signatures were replaced with remote because we had to, right? And then they started okaying that in certain states. There's certain states still that you can't do that, like Texas, for example. You still have to get a wet signature. I came across our company and was really, really intrigued by what Jeff Polk, our CEO, is doing. And he's an attorney, and he is breaking barriers for everybody in the title industry and everybody in real estate. What he's doing is he's actually going against the states and even taking it to the Supreme Court in some cases to remove those residency requirements so that he can have a title company there in that state. So we are in 34 states. Presidential joined forces with Presidential about a year ago. And so it's kind of a newer, as you know, the tech is just ever evolving and it has just been wild and fun to watch it run. So yeah, we're excited to do what we're doing here at Presidential.
Absolutely. It sounds amazing. It sounds like a really wonderful journey. I appreciate you sharing that. I think, being able to implement those tech tools into something like the title industry is really transformative. And we talk a little bit briefly about how the industry is antiquated, and bringing in that technology has been able to help you guys close deals in 72 hours, which is, really, really tremendous. So I'd like for you to talk about that and how you're leading the way in that lane.
Yes. Thanks, Derek. So 72 hours is definitely unheard of in our industry. Being ready to close in less than 3 days is a, brand new thing for everybody. And so when people hear it, they're like, I don't believe it. I want to try it. I don't know if I trust that. So it's a huge claim to make, and we fulfill it every time. If there's liens and things to take care of, there's a whole process there. But we are going to be ready to close and give you everything that you need to know to proceed with that deal. So we built a tech stack. It's a proprietary tech stack that has been built by a really amazing and talented team. We are out of Chicago. So we're based out of Chicago in 34 different states, Illinois obviously being one of them. I am the rep for the Southeast. Mostly I'm out of Florida, but I have recently moved to Montana. Montana is one of our states, and we're slowly but surely showing Montanans a better way to do close deals as well. But yeah, we cater towards creative financing, refis. We can do refis sometimes in less than 24 hours. So big stacks. If you have portfolios of every 5 years, you're doing a refi, we're a go-to for that kind of thing. So yeah, it's fun. It's really fun. It's been a wild ride.
That sounds great. I love that you said you guys built a tech stack to really really help you implement those processes that allow you to continue to do that consistently. What I want to ask you is, because everyone is, exploring some type of technology in their business now, and it's necessary. I'd like to hear what you think the big changes in title and closing will be moving forward?
Yeah, so I think it opens a door for a lot of investors and people to kind of open their eyes and open their hearts to a new way of doing things in general, right? And that's where we're at. And people have wanted to hold on to real estate because it's, they've held it dear as an antiquated industry. It's the last of the investments to go tech. And I understand, and there's good reasoning for that. And land is really the real resource, is one of the most precious resources that we have, if not the other than the air that we're breathing. So thank God for that, right? Yeah. So, I think it just opens the door wide open for everybody to enter the space, which is really beautiful because we're in a place where corporations have really had a monopoly on everything and have kind of Black Rocks and the Gray Street and all of those guys have really monopolized the prices and everything. And I think when you get new ideas and new creativity, like it's fresh, it's new, and it's exciting. And so yeah, I'm really, really, really excited to see where this goes. And as far as titles being able to close faster, obviously it makes it a lot less expensive. So we're 30 to 60%. Sometimes, like in Florida, we're often 60% cheaper than anybody else. And so, of course, we have this tech stack, but then on the other side, we have this genius attorney led team that looks over all the deeds because every deed is nuanced. You can't just rely on AI for everything. It has to be, dealt with the utmost of care by a really intelligent team. So yeah, I'm excited to see other people do the same thing. I'm excited to see brick and mortar go to the ground, and to be honest with you, and new online title companies, remote, that can close anywhere in the world, that work around the clock. And I think it just raises the bar. And I'm excited to see who steps into the space.
Listen, I love that answer. I think what you said about BlackRock kind of coming in and really running the table on a lot of the smaller guys and, being able to not necessarily level the playing field capital wise, but, flexibility wise and scaling wise, being able to use that technology to compete and lower those prices so that you're way more competitive and can facilitate more clients. I love that mindset. And I think the other thing that you mentioned is that you have the AI and the tech that you're using, and it's really, really working well, but you also have the humans, right? The attorney-led team and the professionals
Huge.
that are able to provide that service. So together, you guys create a great company. I'd love to hear about some of your wins, was working really well, and maybe some of the challenges that you guys have experienced.
Yes. Well, I will. How about I start with the challenges and then we'll go to the wins?
Okay.
The challenges, title companies have been writing the paychecks for realtors and like investors for a really long time. And
Mhm.
so that is the final go to. So it's really hard to change those relationships. That dynamic is and we don't want to take people from other people, right? And so on one hand, I say I want them, the brick and mortar companies to go bye bye. And I do, because it's not efficient and it doesn't make sense anymore in the world we live in. However, I do value those relationships and know that a lot of the title guys are also investors, and they're just really deep relationships that go for many years. So that's been an issue that we have to be really gentle with. So we like people to just try us. Don't commit to using us forever. You probably have a title company you already love. Once you try us, we're just different, and you'll see the difference. And for every deal that you want to be cheaper, faster, and more efficient, you'll come to us. For the other deals that are, just clad in stone, you can go to your old fashioned title company, and that's fine. So that's been one of the challenges. One, I've had a lot of wins. I think my favorite win is training other people in this space to do the same thing, because it's such a nuanced industry and there's so much, especially on the title side of it, when you're dealing with all kinds of creative financing investors, your brokers, lenders, private, like it just real estate, like there's so many personalities. So fun coaching people through that process and kind of teaching them all I'm in my 40s, so it's fun to kind of share that. But yeah, some of the big refi portfolios are really fun to get because we can do them so fast that we're just making case studies, and that's fun. It's neat to do something new. So yeah, it's
I,
fun.
I love that answer. I think once you really have a process that's changing things and you're able to change the way people are doing business and change your business itself, it becomes really fun and being able to pass that on to other
That's
people
what
and
you
watch
guys are
them
doing
grow.
too. That's the whole
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes, I completely resonate with that. I love it as well. So, Great answer. Let me ask, as a leader, you're probably watching a few key signals. I'd love for you to talk about which metrics matter the most to you when it comes to team performance, client satisfaction, and all of
Yeah.
those good things about business.
Yes. Well, we love to keep a personal touch. So that's really important because we're still in real estate. And so we're bringing tech to people, but we're doing it to serve them. And we're not selling them anything. There's no contract they sign. There's nothing that we're asking from them. We just want you to try us and see if you like us better. And if you do, keep using us. And if you don't, that's okay too. Right. And usually you do, but that's par for the course. You definitely have so being personal and really getting out there and going to open houses and talking to people and going to some of the investor meetups, that kind of thing is really important. Obviously, LinkedIn is huge social tool there. There's a lot. It's a very layered answer I could go in there. We do try to make just a lot of connections and just serve people the best that we can. So whether they need a referral for another investor or a realtor here or a broker, we just have a huge black book of everyone. And so it's fun to connect the dots and network. And so I thought before being an investor was fun, but this is just like a whole new level. So yeah.
That I think connecting the dots is super important. Like you said, that's one of the reasons why I have these conversations because I love speaking to people about what's changing and how they're changing it. It's always very, very interesting to tap into. But what I'd like to do, I'd like to zoom out a bit, right? You guys are a leader in the industry. You're doing some really tremendous things, 72-hour closes, working really well with technology and still providing a high level of customer satisfaction with the human touch. Let me ask, where would you like Presidential Title Group to be in 6 or 12 months, whether that's team growth or brand awareness? Talk to me about.
So that's a really easy answer because we are going to be the Amazon of closings. So it's going to be as easy to order a title and go to the closing table and do everything as it is to just click that button and order from Amazon and just shop on Amazon. So that's where we're going. We want to be a household name. We're going to be, I mean, we have a huge marketing campaign coming late this summer. We're going to start in Florida as, that's where a majority of investors are right now. And I mean, 20,000 closings a week sound crazy? I mean, that's literally where we're at. So we've built a stock that can handle anything. And so we also have a team that is amazing. And so just filling in that talent and continuing to grow that team alongside the tech stack that we've already built is really where we're at right now. So, I see us as a household name within the next 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it. You guys' growth has been amazing. The expansion into, more than 20 new states is
Yes.
proof of that. So
Yes.
I love that. I think you mentioned the tech stack a few different times. I want to touch briefly on the launch of the instant fee calculator that you guys
Yes.
introduced. Can you talk
Yes.
about that a little bit?
That's a great tool for anyone to use. Gives you a prelim alto, so you know exactly what your closing fees will be. And I mean, it's an estimate, obviously, so it might be different depending on if you have like a reissue rate for then it's actually going to be less expensive. And so the refi calculator, I mean, I'm sorry, it does refi, cash, or loan, so you can kind of just go in there and just put your numbers in, plug it in, and it gives you an instant quote right away. And then one of us will follow up with you and go ahead and yeah, it's really easy. It makes it easy because you know right away everything that it's going to be. So especially for creative financing guys and people who are trying to get other investors on board, it's important to know that information right away and to have a property search and to make sure that everything's good to go.
Absolutely. I think, like you said, it's very important because you want to have an accurate estimate of those fees in order to make sure that the numbers work right. When someone is investing, or even if someone is purchasing a home for personal use, those numbers make a difference, right?
Oh,
That's
big difference.
can
Yeah.
make or break a
Especially when
deal.
you're working on small margins. Some of these, especially post COVID, some deals are really, really small. They're like $16,000 for a lot, and so I mean that's a big difference. It makes or breaks a deal, and it's changed the marketing for a lot of these guys too. They used to be like, get you to the closing table in 15 days, and now they can be like, we'll get done in 3 days. You can have a check in your hand in 3 days, and so it's huge
Mhm.
for wholesalers. Those I would say that's a big base of my clientele because we just serve them so well. Our CEO is, like I said, he's an attorney, but he's also an investor. He was an investor out of Jacksonville. And so he had a lot of these issues. And that's why obviously he did this. So yeah, it solves all those. Every problem has a solution, and we aim to be that solution in the title world for anybody and everybody.
Tremendous. Thank you so much for sharing that. I have one final question for you.
Yeah.
Uh, if hypothetically you could wave a magic wand and solve one challenge in your day-to-day operations, what would that be?
Whoa, one challenge in day-to-day operations. Well, our technology has made everything so smooth and easy that it's taken a huge, like, we operate efficiently across the board, whether it's,
Mhm.
just like through our Slack or anything like that. We're always on the same page. And so I love that. I would say just that connection, creating that personal connection in a remote world. It's definitely, like I told you, I was in home shows. And so I was talking to thousands of people over a
Mhm.
weekend, right? And now I talk to people, but it's all on the phone and it's through LinkedIn and it's through these things. And so, like I said, putting a personal touch and really going to their offices and talking to them and having those conversations, even though it's not quote unquote efficient. I think it's so important because the relationship is the most important thing you have in real estate. And that's your best asset. So yeah, just continuing, I guess, day-to-day operations is kind of balancing both of those worlds, the tech and the person to person relationship.
Absolutely. I think real estate is definitely a relationship driven industry. Technology can definitely bring us together, but we need that human touch. So
Yeah.
it all makes a beautiful picture.
You're doing your
Thank,
part. So thank you.
thank you.
Human touch, bringing people like me on. So thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for coming on, and I'd love to give you this chance to share any last words, any contact information where people can reach you if they want to, do a deal or continue the conversation. Where can they find you?
Yeah, so you can go to my link tree. It's 3 days to close. So link tree, 3 days to close, and just the number three, and you'll see everything right there and all of my information. And I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to still connect person to person and to an audience and to everyone. And I'm grateful that everyone has, our minds are becoming more open to technology and bringing it into this antiquated space. So thank you for doing your part. I'm happy to do mine as well. And I hope you have a wonderful, blessed week. And I'm
Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope you also have a wonderful, blessed week. And this has been another episode of Assets and Algorithms.
Thanks, Derek.